Hey there, I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're going to share a story, and it's all about what it means to be a really, really good friend. You know, it's about noticing things, about being kind, and about how those little choices we make can actually make a huge, wonderful difference in someone's life. Ready? Let's get into it.
So, let me ask you something. Have you ever been at school, maybe on the playground, or even at the park, and you've seen someone just standing off to the side, all by themselves, while everyone else is running around and playing? I bet we've all seen that. And maybe, just maybe, some of us have even felt that. It's a pretty lonely feeling, isn't it?
All right, so our story kicks off in this super bright, busy schoolyard. You can just imagine it, right? All that happy noise, kids running everywhere, and right in the middle of it all is a boy named Ion, just laughing and having fun with his friends. But then he spots something through the crowd. Over by this huge oak tree, sitting on a bench all by himself, is a new kid named Ravi. He's not playing, not talking to anyone, he's just sitting there.
So here's the thing. Ravi was totally new to the school. And you know how it is, everything about him probably seemed a little different to the other kids. And sometimes, when someone's new, things can feel a little, uncertain, right? Well, that exact moment, when Ion saw Ravi just sitting there, that was it. That was the very first step. That was the moment he really noticed.
And you know what? That's really the heart of being an ally, isn't it? It all starts with seeing, not just with your eyes, but with your heart too, that something might be wrong. You know, like someone feeling super lonely. But here's the key. Just noticing? That's only the beginning. The next part, the really important part, is choosing to actually do something about it, to be part of the solution.
So Ion kind of pauses for a second. I mean, he could just go back to his game, right? That would be way easier. But he doesn't. Instead, he takes this quiet little breath and decides to do something. He actually walks away from his friends, goes right over to that bench, and sits down next to Ravi. And all he says is, "Hey, I'm Ion. Want to sit with me at lunch today?"
And just like that, with one small, quiet sentence, Ion totally showed up for Ravi. That is what allyship is. See, it doesn't always have to be some big, loud, heroic thing. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can possibly do is just offer a simple, kind invitation. It's really about making sure nobody has to feel invisible.
Isn't that amazing? How just one person, in one tiny little moment of kindness, can completely change everything for someone else. You can just picture Ravi, right? He looks up all surprised, and then this little smile spreads across his face. For him, Ion's simple hello, well, it made a world of difference. Okay, so fast forward to lunch. Ion brings Ravi over to sit with his whole group of friends. But as they sit down, things get a little quiet. You know that kind of quiet? And another friend, her name is Mina, she kind of looks at Ravi and then whispers something to Ion. Now, she's not trying to be mean or anything, she's just a little unsure.
And look, Mina's reaction is something we can probably all understand. It's new, it's different. But Ion, he doesn't get upset. Nope. He just stays totally calm and gently says, "That's why we should get to know him." Wow. In that one quiet moment, he chose to turn that feeling of uncertainty into a chance to make a new friend. And by doing that, by inviting Ravi in, Ion pretty much opened up a whole new world for his friends. I mean, they got to learn all these new stories, hear about new places, and they made an amazing new friend. And that's the cool part, right? It's all of our differences that make our friendships and our whole world so much more interesting and, beautiful. But being an ally isn't always easy. It's not always simple. So later that week, something happens. Another kid accidentally bumps into Ravi and then makes this really unkind comment about his accent. And you can just see the hurt on Ravi's face. He looks down at the ground and just shrinks, like he's trying to become small and quiet all over again.
Okay, so this is another one of those moments. You know that feeling you get, like deep down inside when you just know something isn't right? Well, Ion feels it. He could stay quiet. He could totally pretend he didn't hear it, but an ally chooses to get involved when things just don't feel fair. So what does he do? Ion steps forward. But he doesn't yell. He doesn't get angry. He uses this gentle but really brave voice. He looks right at the other kid and says firmly, "Hey, that wasn't kind. Please stop." You know, it takes real courage to speak up like that, especially when it feels kind of scary or, awkward.
See, Ion's goal wasn't to start a big fight or anything. Not at all. It was just to offer support. He stood right there, beside Robbie, making sure his friend knew he wasn't alone in that tough moment. It's like he was a shield of kindness, just protecting his friend.
And you know what? After that day, you could really feel a change. Ravi started to smile so much more. He would jump into games without even waiting for an invitation. He felt safe. He felt like he belonged. And the whole friend group? Yeah, even Meena. They all discovered they had this funny, super kind, and just wonderful new friend.
Those simple things Ayan did, they made such a huge difference for Ravi. Think about it. He helped him feel seen when he felt invisible. He helped him feel safe when he was feeling hurt. He gave him the space to just be his happy, joyful self. And maybe most important of all, he let him know that he mattered.
So one afternoon, they're sitting under that same big oak tree, and Ravi just quietly says to Ayan, "Thank you for being there for me." And Ayan just smiles and says something really amazing. He says, "I just tried to be the friend I'd want someone to be for me." Wow. It feels so good to have an ally, doesn't it? And it feels just as good to be one. So when we look back at this whole story with Ayan, we can kind of see the path an ally takes. It's a journey, right? First, you notice what's going on around you, with your eyes and with your heart. Then you choose to act with simple kindness. And sometimes, it means speaking up with that gentle but brave voice. And always, it's about listening, really listening, so we can start to understand what it's like to be in someone else's shoes.
Here's the thing you have to remember. You don't have to be some kind of superhero in a cape to do this. You really don't. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers. Being an ally is really just about trying your best to be a good friend, especially to someone who really, really needs one. And that means anyone. And yep, that means you can be an ally. So, what does all this mean for us? For you and me? Well, it means we all have a choice. Every single day, we have a choice to make. So look around you, lead with your heart, and just remember these 3 simple things. Be kind, be brave, and be an ally.